Hi, I'm Kristin Ward, and I am the CEO of Solvere Living. And I am happy today to have Joe Geiser and Lori Dancy. And we're going to talk about heart health. Lori is our Chief Compliance Officer and our Chief Wellness Officer, all things wellness. Lori has over 30 years experience and is a nurse practitioner. Joe, as our VP of Dining Services, started in restaurants over 40 years ago and has done everything from line cook to management supervision, opening restaurants and communities, and he is responsible for all of our amazing culinary programs and menus at Solvere Living. So thank you, Lori and Joe, for being with me today to talk about heart health. So February, the month of sweets, chocolate, and Valentine's Day, but it's also American Heart Month. So what we wanted to talk about today was all the things that you can do for your heart. Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of adults in the United States. And it is not just for those that are older or for those that are aging. It affects all adults in the United States, and it's an important thing to talk about and understand. So I'd love to learn more, Lori, about what older adults can do to strengthen their hearts, and why do all of the dimensions of wellness matter and contribute to a healthy heart?
Well, there are many things that older adults can do to strengthen their hearts, to maintain great heart healthy habits. When you think about the body, we tend to think about it in segments: the heart, the lungs, so your cardiovascular system, your pulmonary system, maybe your urinary system, all these different parts that even all these different specialists focus on, right? In reality, when talking about heart healthiness and well-being, we really do want to look at the body as a whole, because it takes all of it to have attention to work and function well. So when referring to the dimensions of wellness, in the Solvere Living communities, we really focus on, yes, the physical, clinical needs of the body, those systems, but we pay just as much attention to the other needs that really ensure those systems work. And those are the dimensions of wellness. So there are 4 of them that we do focus on. There's the intellectual, there's the physical, the spiritual, and the social. So when you think about intellectual wellness, that is all about the brain, cognition, a healthy brain. So a healthy heart definitely means a healthy brain, or works towards brain cell development, oxygenation of those brain cells. But at the same time, when you're exercising your brain, that means you are increasing your heart rate, you're increasing your blood flow in those brain cells and within the brain, which ultimately has a very positive effect on the heart as well. So it's a kind of a synergistic type of relationship between the two. When we talk about physical health, we hear a lot about physical well-being and the need and the importance of exercising 20 to 30 minutes a day of mild to moderate activity, movement is critical to maintaining a healthy heart. It could be doing chores that a person brings that into their daily life. But doing something in terms of movement and physical activity is very important for the heart. Because what happens is when you move and when you exercise, your circulation improves. So when your circulation improves, your oxygenation improves, because you're able to move oxygen easier, better, and more of it throughout the body. So those organs, the heart, the lungs, the bladder, all of those things function and work optimally and better Even if someone has a diagnosis related to one of those areas, it's all for improvement and or maintenance and slowing down progression, hopefully, of disease processes. So physical activity is just very important. Spiritually, when we talk about bringing calmness, peace, meditation, kind of centering, slowing down, that's all about de-stressing. And that is very important for the heart to be able to regulate and monitor stress levels in the body because of the direct correlation it can have on the heart as well as other parts of the body, but definitely on the heart. So very important to do that to lower your blood pressure. When we are less stressed, we're not as tense. That means our vessels are a little bit more relaxed. That means the blood flows easier, which automatically leads to a decrease or lowered blood pressure. So that's just one example of how the spiritual dimension of wellness can benefit the heart. And socially, bringing all people together, that connectedness, that's important. Relationship, that's important. The hormones, the endorphins that are released and that come into play when people connect is necessary for the body and for the heart to function optimally. So we do really focus on all four of those aspects and dimensions of wellness when we are talking about overall wellness and heart healthiness of the residents.
Great. So they're all connected and they all support each other. And in talking about the comprehensiveness, if you will, of wellness and what that means, it leads to the same concept with nutrition. And Joe, I've heard the term, for optimal health, you want to eat the rainbow, which I guess represents all of those colors of the rainbow and everything involved in that. So tell me more about that.
Eating the rainbow is exactly what it sounds like. Any vegetables or fruits that have nice color are going to be good for you. A few examples I can give from the fruits: strawberries, blueberries, banana, apple, orange, grapes, fresh vegetables, onions, peppers, celery, carrots, garlic, tomato, spinach, broccoli, kale, collard greens, cucumber, and avocado. That's only a partial list. It's much larger than that, but I mention these because these are a lot of the items that we use to cook with at our communities. Every one of these items contain a large amount of antioxidants, which everyone knows are good for you, vitamins and minerals, and each of them also helps control and lower blood pressure and cholesterol, two of the main items that are considered when dealing with heart issues. Our chefs at Solvere utilize these items. Instead of utilizing salt to cook with, we utilize the fresh vegetables and the herbs and the spices to enhance the flavors, to make the meals taste very, very good without adding additional salt to the product.
So that sounds amazing. What is your favorite recipe that involves the rainbow?
My favorite recipe is something that my wife and I just started to put together, and it's called a stuffed pepper casserole. And it's basically all the ingredients from a stuffed pepper, except they're all cut up and they're all mixed together. The rice is in there. We use multicolored peppers to give it a really nice look. We use meat or ground beef that is lower in fat, and it's absolutely delicious. And everyone loves it, and it tastes as though you're eating a stuffed pepper without having to go through the trouble of actually stuffing them and blanching them and cooking them. So it's a quicker process, and the end result is exactly the same, and it's a very healthy meal.
That's great. Well, and you mentioned herbs and vegetables. And so Lori, I know in a lot of the programs at the communities, that's actually part of some of the activities as well, right?
It really is. Joe and I, it's a great privilege for me to be able to work on certain programs with Joe, and because it's all about wellness, whether it's dining and what we're eating, the programs that are in place, the medications you're taking. But one of the things that Joe and I have worked on and we see a lot of in the communities. The residents often have gardens. They plant vegetables. They choose what vegetables they'd like to plant. We have herb gardens. We've done indoor herb gardens, outdoor herb gardens. And what's really great is when the residents get to take the vegetables they've grown, take the herbs that are growing, and bring them to the chef and to that dining services director, and they add them into the meal. So they're literally eating the food they've planted through a social type of program. Heart healthy food, like Joe just mentioned, all those colors and herbs, and the chef is using them for the food that they're eating. It's really a great experience.
Great. That's wonderful. Well, and talking about social experience, I was surprised to learn in doing research for this and for American Heart Month that, people who are socially isolated are 40% more likely to have a cardiovascular event. And the impact that social isolation has on people. So, how do Solvere programs help combat social isolation, and what are some of those?
Mhm. I was shocked as well when researching social isolation, especially more so even right now with COVID, that impact, and to learn that 40% of a greater increased risk of developing cardiovascular disease because of social isolation is a true fact. Well, that truly parallels the risk with smoking and developing cardiovascular disease. So that was scary to hear and to learn. And we know a lot about smoking, and there's all kinds of programs for smoking cessation and medications and all kinds of things. But when we think of social isolation, we really don't think about that as something that directly impacts someone's overall well-being in their heart. So in our communities, we do a lot of programming around socializing the residents, whether it's an art type of program where they're painting or creating something. Maybe it's listening to music together. We've had choirs form. We have people playing instruments and creating something similar to a band together. All kinds of different opportunities to come together and to socialize is a focus. And the reality, however, is with COVID, we quickly recognize that social isolation is something that was going to be a reality for the residents, and something we were going to have to find a way to intervene. So we did develop a program, a signature program called Solvere Circle. And what Solvere Circle is, it allows residents who live in any Solvere community throughout the country to come together on a weekly basis and really just be encouraged, to encourage each other, to share with one another, to have some fun together, to laugh, to cry, to learn. All of these things happen. And sometimes it's through a therapist coming in for 1 week and talking to the group of residents about maybe grief or loss. It could be another expert coming in and talking to the group or helping everyone to learn how to de-stress. So stress relaxation techniques, maybe how to meditate, maybe doing chair exercises or yoga. We had our first dance class together just this week, which was great for the heart. Even in our Heart Healthy month of February, where that's our focus, we're going to do a week on talking about our first loves, and great stories to hear and to share about and to learn from one another. But also when people talk about something just like that, those hormones that are released, the relaxation that comes, it's all about heart healthiness. So there's a lot of different types of programs and experiences that are brought to the residents through Solvere Circle on a weekly basis.
So when you say all the residents across the country in different Solvere managed communities, how does that happen?
Yes, so it does take some coordination, and basically it's through Zoom.
Okay.
We have a schedule. We have partnered experts that come, and we schedule them, and that schedule is provided to every community. The Salis coach, the Vallejo director, who are the programmers for assisted living, independent living, or memory care. They have the schedule. They know the dates and the times every week for that upcoming month and what the topic is, so that they can add it to their calendar. So they know how to schedule and plan. They bring those residents together on that day and time of the week. And it's a Zoom meeting that we together.
So they get to interact with all the residents in the community where they live, as well as across the country in a different format, in a different way.
Exactly.
Right. And Joe, I know some opportunities to limit social isolation comes with the dining experience as well. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. We have an opportunity 3 times a day, and actually all day because we do all day dining, but the general groups come at our breakfast, lunch, and dinner hours. And it's a great opportunity. People sit with people they like, people they want to talk to, they want to interact with. They may sit with people they never met before, maybe a new resident. I've seen almost like resident ambassadors who like gravitate to those new folks to welcome them to the community and introduce them to what, explain how their system works, how the menu works, how the server's going to approach them and ask them about things. So it's a great opportunity. And if we are doing a chef table in the dining room, that's another draw, another attraction that can be put up there. Some of the other interactions we can do that would not be in the dining room might be a cooking demonstration. You know, Lori talked about musical things and art classes, but there can be a cooking demonstration that may take place during one of our travel times months with that travel times theme. Great opportunity for people to get involved. And most of the time that recipe has actually been something that's been created by the residents as part of the travel times program. So it's a real opportunity to see that final product come to fruition when it's prepared.
Okay, that's great. All right, well, thank you. You know, it's never too late to pay attention to your heart. And in the month of February, with all of us focused on heart health, understanding it doesn't just impact older adults, it impacts everyone. And we can all benefit and learn from that. But also, it was fun to be able to talk about some of the innovative ways that you at Solvere Living are coming up with new ideas and ways to affect a healthy heart and to create opportunities to inspire people to realize their full potential. So if any of you would like to learn more about some of these wonderful signature programs, check out any Solvere community and we'd be happy to tell you more. So thank you all. I appreciate it. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.